Okay, good morning. So today I'll be talking about the jet engine project which have been given to me by Professor Dr. Sarkar S from College of Aviation Technology. So this is my project. So first let's start talking about the history and development of jet engine. So as we all know, like jet engine find applications in huge number of fields, and the most prominent one among them is the aviation and energy production sector. So since the design of these jet engines are very complex, and it requires knowledge of various engineering fields including mechanics and thermodynamics. So basically the first jet engine dates back to around 150 BC. It was known as AE5. It is the planting idea behind the jet engines. Basically, how it worked was it uses an exit jet stream of water to rotate the ball, which produces power. So, and then in 1791, John Barber used the thermodynamic cycle in the jet engine to file a patent in his name. Then the new major breakthrough in the jet engine technology was done by Sir Frank Whittle of the Royal Air Force. Like in 1930s, he introduced the world to the jet engine and its extensive areas of application through energy conversion methods. So, so at that time, what happened was like propeller-driven aircrafts were closing in on the speed of sound, which they had many related problems, like such as generation of shock waves and result uh, shock waves, so which resulted the propeller being blown to pieces. Where on the other hand, jet engines are more efficient and at higher speeds, which was precisely the requirement at that time. Also, another area which was uh, in the need of immediate attention was the materials used for manufacturing the jet engines, because at that time there was no high temperature resistant materials, and that was the need of the hour. So yeah, on the other hand, Sir Frank Whittle developed Gloucester Meteor, a jet engine used for homeland defense in the UK. Then General Electric in the US was contracted to give life to Whittle's technology, which eventually resulted in Bell XP-59. So let's talk about coming to the jet engine types and classification on a like broader scale. There are basically two types of jet engines. One of them is jet propulsion engine, and another jet one of them is jet propulsion air breathing engines. So basically, these engines use the oxygen from the atmosphere for the combustion of fuel. So under this category, turbojet, turboprop, and ramjet and pulse jet come under air breathing engines category. So, and to move on, these are further divided on basis of how they compress air for the combustion. So basically, there are two types of compressors. Uh, so yeah, turbojet and turboprop use a compressor, usually turbine drive, to compress the air. So at the same time, ramjet and pulsejet are designed to work without a compressor. So yeah, in this report, I've talked about turbojet engine, turboprop, turboshaft, turbofan, and ramjet. I explained in detail how all of these engines work basically from the start. So as we all know, all the jet engines basically work on a particular cycle, which is known as Brayton cycle. It is a thermodynamic cycle. So basically, typical Brayton cycle starts from compressing the air to the required pressure. The compressed air is then mixed with fuel, which initiates the ignition, expanding the gases, and work is done during this expansion process. Uh, so, and we can also increase this efficiency by directing this hot air into the inlet, which again preheats the incoming air to a specific temperature. And since the air incoming air is already preheated, less work is less work has to be done on the incoming air. So then after this, there is an adiabatic compression and expansion and isobaric heating process and cooling, which makes up the complete Brayton cycle. So yeah, and in I have explained about the typical Brayton cycles, which consist of like four basic processes. Two of them are isentropic process and two of them are isobaric process. And there's a PV diagram of the Brayton cycle. Then there's TS diagram also. So the figure 3 shows the block diagram of simple Brayton engine. Then coming to 1.4, there's a thermal efficiency of Brayton cycle. In this report, I have um, combined all the equations related to the thermal efficiency of Brayton cycle. So it fine. Yeah. Then jet engine specifications and of turbojet engine. So in this report, I have selected a Saturn AL31F jet engine to write all the specification. It is a high temperature double circuit turbojet engine with an afterburner. So it is basically used in the Chinese jet aircraft Chengdu J10. So yeah, in the 2.1 section, I have introduced all the specifications of this engine, and the table 1 shows all the performance specifications of AL31F, starting from dry thrust and thrust with afterburner all the way to inlet mass flow rate. Then 2.2 section explains about the various components of a jet engine. The first one is air intake engine, or air intake of the engine. The first component is the fan, which is also known as air intake. It is basically responsible for sucking in air from the environment and feeding it into the compressor. So basically, you need like materials which have which offer high strength to weight ratio for extraordinary corrosion resistance. So titanium is the ideal choice of the manufacturers. So after like I introduced of like explain the process of how air intake works. Then yeah, like figure 5 shows the Chengdu J10 aircraft taking off, and there's air intake here. Then comes the compressor. So basically the core of the compressor starts the beginning of core of a jet engine, which is basically attached to a shaft. Then the shaft is also attached to the turbine. So like the main basic primary purpose of the compressor is to compress the air which is incoming into the engine to increase the pressure, to increase its pressure, which it does by compressing the air mechanically. So it basically increases the energy potential of the air. There are like all in all, there are basic two types of compressors. One is axial flow compressor, and another one is centrifugal flow compressor. In axial flow compressor, the flow travels parallel to the axis of rotation, whereas in centrifugal, the flow travels perpendicular to the axis of rotation. So basically, like nowadays, all the modern aircraft use axial flow compressor because one of the main reason being it's compact in size. So yeah, this is an axial flow compressor on a shaft, and the behind, like the back portion, is the turbine of the engine. So then comes the combustion chamber. It is the main basic component of a jet engine. It is like basically it is responsible for producing thrust which propels the aircraft forward. Basically the fuel is combined with high pressure air from the compressor, which is then burned, producing high temperature exhaust gases. Then these are fed to the turbine, which produces thrust when passing through a nozzle. So yeah, this section explains all the basic function of combustion chamber. And like if we talk about the AL31F combustion chamber, it is an annular type with 28 atomizer and 2 manifolds. So then comes the turbine. Turbine is a series arrangement of blade discs that act like a small windmill acquiring energy from hot gases coming out of the combustion chamber. So basically in the turbine, the work is done on the turbine by the hot air gases, which propels the aircraft forward. Like similar to the compressor, turbine consists of alternate rows of rotors and stators connected to the main shaft. So like the main basic function of stator is to make sure the flow does not spiral around the axis by directing it parallel to the axis. So this paragraph explains the basic functioning of turbine. So then the last part is exhaust. Okay, this part is actually responsible for producing thrust by throwing the exhaust gas back to the free stream. It works on Newton's third law. So yeah, nozzle is placed downstream to the turbine. It is basically like very simple in geometry, and but the physics behind it is complex. Yeah, so this paragraph also explains about the different functions and different types and what are the recent developments in the nozzle research. Then like last and the final part is afterburner. So basically afterburner is an additional component on jet engines, which is like used to improve the thrust to weight ratio. So basically increasing the thrust. But like, so what happens is the basically exhaust gases which are coming out from the turbine still contain a lot of oxygen. So without wasting that oxygen, uh, afterburner is used to inject fuel directly into the exhaust stream, and like this burns the leftover oxygen. So yeah, so they heating up the exhaust gases further, which this afterburner can give the provide an additional thrust of more than 50%. So yeah, the one main advantage of afterburner is there can be significant increase in thrust with very little add very little weight increment. But the yeah, so typical afterburner consists of a set of fuel injectors, a tube, a flame holder to burn the fuel, and nozzle. But the main disadvantage of afterburner is that it uses huge amount of fuel. So basically, these afterburners are not used on a commercial aircraft, but only used on aircraft jets. Okay. So this is figure 11 shows the cross-section of AL31F jet engine, which I designed in CATIA software. And figure 12 shows the isometric view. Figure 13 shows the front view. This is the rear view and the side view. So yeah, coming to the 3.2 design method, design parameter, design specifications, and evaluation. So this paragraph generally explain what all the design methods are used in the AL31F jet engine, and the parameters and specifications and evaluation. So yeah, it says about I used CATIA V5 software and for designing the CAD of this engine. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you.